If you're watching this, there's a good chance that you already know that you're capable of more. You show up, you follow through, you stay consistent. You've read the books, you've highlighted the paragraphs, you've downloaded the courses that promise clarity, confidence, or momentum, and some of it works for a while. Yet beneath the insight and the action, there's still a familiar undercurrent. A sense that you need to stay switched on, that slowing down risks falling behind, that success always comes with the pressure to keep proving. You hit the milestones, you move the needle, you achieve the things you once dreamt of, and still, it rarely settles. Because there's a quiet voice that says, you could be doing more, you should be further along, don't get comfortable yet. If that feels familiar, this video is for you. Because the gap between your capability and your lived experience isn't necessarily effort. It lives at the level of identity. And today, I want to share something that quietly underpins everything I do. How I lead, how I create results, how I sustain success without burning myself in the process. That thing is NLP. I found NLP during a season where I was actually achieving. Yet I still felt like I was chasing something invisible. I was consistent, I was reliable, I was doing all of the right things. Yet internally, my system was always on. I noticed how quickly my mind moved on from the wins, how satisfaction was always so brief, how every achievement immediately created the next internal target. What I didn't realize at the time was this. My drive wasn't necessarily fueled by desire. It was fueled by a need to stay ahead. A belief, often unconscious, that momentum equaled safety. NLP helped me see that my success wasn't the issue. The relationship I had with success was. NLP stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming. And at its core, it's the study of how your inner world shapes your outer results. Neuro is your nervous system, what it learns to associate with safety, progress, and belonging. For high performers, safety often becomes linked to movement. So even when things are going well, the system stays alert. Linguistics is the language you use internally, the quiet phrases that run beneath the surface. Keep going, this isn't enough yet. Other people are working harder. That language keeps you producing and quietly keeps you tense. Programming is in reference to these patterns and how they repeat. You learn, you apply, you succeed, yet the internal state stays the same. NLP isn't about adding more information, it's about updating the structure underneath the behavior. Most of the people that I work with are already good. They're capable, they're intelligent, they're dependable. Greatness, however, asks for something deeper. Not more output, more internal congruence. Here's the distinction. Good says, I'll prove myself through effort. Great says, my presence is what carries the weight. When identity is rooted in proving, success feels conditional. When identity is rooted in self-trust, success feels sustainable. NLP supports this transition. It allows your greatness to do the heavy lifting. And this is where NLP becomes deeply practical. At its core, NLP recognizes that every human experience follows a pattern, a structure. You have an input, create a meaning, which generates a state, then a behavior, then the result. So let me bring this to life. When we're thinking of input, this is what you see, hear, feel, and focus on. It's the email that comes through, the number on the dashboard, the silence after you send the message, the feedback that lands. Two people can experience the same input and live entirely different realities. Then we have the meaning. This is the story that you attach to what happens. For high achievers, it often sounds like, I just need to stay ahead. This can't slow me down. I should already be further along. Meaning is subtle and it quietly drives everything. Then we have our state. This is created through the meaning. This is the alertness, the pressure, the constant readiness, or once you upgrade the meaning, it could be the calm focus, the grounded confidence, expansion. From that state, behavior then follows. You work harder, you stay switched on, you keep proving. Or from regulation, you act with clarity, authority, and ease. Those behaviors then create your results. You succeed, you achieve, you hit the milestones, and if the meaning underneath hasn't shifted, the identity could stay in never enough. So this is the difference NLP makes. Most approaches just focus on the behavior, whereas NLP works at the level of the filter. When the meaning shifts, the state shifts. And when the state shifts, the behaviors start to align. Once your behaviors align, results compound without the burnout. This is why NLP supports confidence that feels settled, communication that carries weight, visibility that feels safe, emotional regulation that is sustainable. This isn't hype, it's a structural recalibration. The surface level tools will only take you so far. They give you what to do. NLP updates who you are being while you do it. And that's where everything changes. On a personal level, NLP helped me soften that internal voice that was always pushing. Not to lose my ambition, yet to lead from choice. I learned how to recognize pressure as information rather than instruction. Rest became restorative. Success became enjoyable, and confidence became quiet. And my whole life expanded from there. Professionally, NLP will transform how you lead. You'll stop over-explaining. You'll stop performing competence. You allow your presence to carry authority. You speak once and it lands, because leadership comes from the state that you're in. NLP gives you the framework to lead from regulation, clarity, and grounded self-trust. That's why I use it, that's why I teach it, and that's why it sits underneath everything that I do. NLP deepens who you already are. It releases the pressure to prove and replaces it with embodied self-trust. And because this work is all about experiences, it has to be felt. This is why we run our integrated NLP practitioner training, either in person on the Gold Coast or live online via Zoom. This is 7 days. 7 days of recalibrating success. 7 days of working at the structural level. 7 days of allowing your capacity, rather than pressure, to lead. If you've tried everything else and that quiet never enough still lingers, this is where it resolves. All of the details are below, and if this feels like your next level, you'll know. We look forward to welcoming you into our room to spend those 7 days with you soon.